Now, I know you guys have been waiting for my take on the Ultimatum reunion, and we are here to get into some things, so sit back and let's get into it. So we're just gonna jump in, okay, because the reunion was already delayed because this show was filmed over 2 years ago. The reunion was filmed almost 1.5 to 2 years after the show even happened. But I'm gonna get into all the problematic stuff about this show in another video. Today we're here to focus on the shenanigans that happened at the reunion, okay? So when we walk into it, okay, I'm like, okay, they brought the host in again. I'm like, why is she here? Because I do not get what she brings to this show at all. Could they have found someone in the queer community? Of course, but all right. So we're all on set together. And I'm like, oh, I don't see Xander. After like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, there's Xander right there. And so we're going to focus on our first couple. I want to get into Vanessa and Xander. And so some people have said to me, do you think that Vanessa had growth since the season ended? And I'm like, okay, never thought about that. I was not focused on that. I was focused on some other things that we'll get into. But do I think Vanessa had growth? I'm not sure. I think they watched this show. It was filmed 2 years ago. Was there the opportunity for growth? Yes, but I still feel like Vanessa has that messy, that ego needs to be filled. And so when she started, dropping the little hints about, well, didn't y'all hook up in real life? I was like, okay, there's the Vanessa that I know. There's a Vanessa that is like, growth who? Okay, I'm still in here, all right? And then it was the story about one day we'll meet up at a taco truck. I know some people felt like it was very poetic. They felt for Vanessa, but I was like, here we go with the victim stuff again. Woe is me. Woe is me. I really thought that, me and Xander could have a friendship. I just need my friend back. Sometimes y'all don't need to be friends with y'all exes. Y'all need to really have time to grow, be apart, be individually people. You don't always have to be friends with your ex. What do you really get from that sometimes? It keeps you trapped in that dynamic, okay? And I hope Xander sees past those tears. She needs a cup to hold up all them tears that she was crying throughout this reunion. So do I think Vanessa had growth? I'm not gonna completely say no, but from a therapist perspective, there was not enough growth, okay? Now moving on to Xander, I feel like Xander was very honest. There were some times, your girl Yoli had to, I don't remember that. And Xander's like, I do. But I love how Xander is getting more in tune to being Xander, comfortable in who I am, living for me, needing space, and figuring out who am I outside of my relationship with Vanessa. Other than that, there was nothing really there. I'm glad that they're still not together because they need to be separate. They need to have their own individuality. And I think in that relationship, Vanessa's ego was a blanket for the relationship where I feel like Xander was trapped under this blanket of just ego-driven mania, for lack of a better word. So I'm glad they're not together. I hope they don't meet up at the taco truck. Sorry, y'all. I don't hope they meet up and have tacos. They need to be separate. Vanessa needs to be in somebody's therapy office. All of them deserve a great therapist like myself. But yeah, there was like nothing really there. So I want to move on to Mildred and Tiffany. Ooh, baby. I watched half this reunion. I was like, okay, what's the point? Okay, because the questions aren't being answered the way I expected. The life updates I thought I was going to get, we ain't getting no life updates, really. I'm like, okay, Netflix could have kept this, okay? Because I'm not getting nothing. And then Mildred's like, it's my show, okay? So Mildred came for the jugular. so much gaslighting. This is a prime example when I hear people say, my trauma does not control me. Girl, your trauma is ruining your life, your relationships. It's running you. You ain't running your own life. That trauma is. And there was just so much like, I'ma talk. Are you done? It wasn't even like in a respectful way of like, hey, are you done speaking? Because I would like to speak and say my piece. It was more like, oh no, honey, I'm driving the bus. Yoli filled up the gas tank. She in the passenger seat, passenger princess, and I'ma drive this bus. And we gonna roll over you, but then we gonna back up. We gonna back it up, okay? Oh man, the gaslighting. There was just so much black and white thinking. I really think that there is some access to stuff happening with Mildred. I don't think it's narcissism. I don't think it's avoidant personality. I don't think it's histrionic. So what do we have left, ladies? Okay, I think she might have some tendencies of someone who has had a lot of trauma, someone who has black and white thinking, someone who flips, someone whose moods can be very unstable. And so I'm not going to label her because I'm not her therapist, but I'm going to let y'all put two and two together, and y'all can let me know in the comments, is somebody on this cast exhibiting traits of someone living with borderline personality disorder? Because to me, the black and white thinking, the gaslighting, the just like, I don't know if they're lies because I wasn't there. You guys weren't there. Only Tiff and Mildred know what really happened. But it just really felt like, you know what? I'm going to play victim and I'm going to run you over. I'm going to lay it all out so that you feel bad. And so Tiffany, to me, Tiff, you know, came off as that, you know, Mildred was a covert narcissist. And I think a lot of people see her as a narcissist. I don't. I think it's more of, you know, more the black and white thinking, the gaslighting, the unstable mood, the disrespect, not knowing what you're going to get, walking on eggshells. To me, those are all signs of someone living with borderline personality disorder. But I don't know. I'm not her therapist. These are just things that I noticed as a therapist, and my hat went off like, ooh, girl, there's something there. But it's not narcissism. It's something else. And the way she just kept like, I'm gonna stab you once and then I'm gonna dig the knife in deeper. I was just like, oh, sis is like, she lit that AK and she just lay it off. Okay. And the host, girl, what was you doing? Okay. She was just sitting there like the rest of us, like, oh, okay. So I think that they need to find a better host. I think Mildred needs a lot of therapy. I feel like she probably has some complex trauma that she needs to work through. And let me know if you want me to do a deep dive on Mildred and the complex trauma that she's going through, and how that's affecting her relationship. I can do a separate video on that because there's just so much meat that I might have to do like some individualized breakdowns of some of the people and let you know how trauma really shows up in your life. All right. But let's move on to Mildred's homegirl, apparently, Yoli. Now, this is the link up that we don't need, okay? Two manipulative people, two people all about themselves, and you could tell that they are friends now, and I don't like it. That's not a healthy friendship. And I think a lot of y'all have friends like this, or link ups where, it stank. It was stank. I didn't like it. I didn't like how Yoli was egging her on. Girl, you need some more bullets? Okay, let me check in my purse because I came loaded too. It was unhealthy. And so going into Yoli, you know, we're going to go into her from the perspective of the relationship with Xander and the relationship with Mel. For me, I felt bad for Mel because there were a lot of lies that Mel was told even after the show. I'm sure she saw a lot of things on there, but still in the reunion, there were so many revelations. Okay, so many revelations that what I was told was once again false. And once again, you do not need to be friends with your ex. You can give yourself the permission to move on without needing that umbilical cord. This is one of those examples, like, cut the ties, okay? You know, Mel called Yoli the cousin that you don't talk to sometimes. That's a cousin that we don't talk about, we don't see at functions, because we don't go to them functions, because we know they're going to trigger something in us. They're in a place of not being healed while you're trying to heal, so we need to break ties. They don't need to have anything to do with each other. Yoli, no growth there. This is a person, like, you can't even keep up with your lies, okay? And then you try and, you know, bring Xander into the lie too, and Xander's like, this is awkward, but yeah, you're lying. I remember that. So I don't like how she, you know, continues to lie, but then also was crying about not being a mother. I'm not gonna, like, mom shame her or anything, but it's interesting to learn she really wants to be a mother, but she hasn't worked on, to me, her healing, her processing, so that she can be a better person before you bring another person into this world, or before whatever it is that you do to become a parent. She's just not ready. So moving on to her and Xander now. Okay, now I told y'all, if y'all watch my TikToks, I told you guys that this is a relationship based off of lust. And I think once they got into the real world, you could see there was nothing there. I don't know if I quite believe that they only met up at Coachella. And this would have to be Coachella in, what, 2022, I guess? I don't know if I really believe that. There's just something that I feel like there was this space of things are not being said all the way. And I don't know if that's to save face, to not have all our business be out there, but it just kind of felt like, you know, what's tea? What's really going on now? Because something y'all not really saying, okay? And so there was Vanessa chiming in. I thought, you know, Yoli, you were supposed to come to Hawaii and meet Xander. I'm like, oh, tea is being spilled. Let me put my phone down and pay attention, because the rest of this stuff has been kind of lackluster. But okay, what's really tea now? All right, so Yoli has a lot of growth to do. Mel needs to cut ties with her, because she is toxic. And now the link up between her and Mildred, toxic twin flames. Okay, they are toxic twin flames that do not need to be connected. People around them, I wonder about the relationship that they have with friends and family, especially Mildred. I'm wondering about her relationship with her son, because I feel like she weaponized her relationship with her son against Tiff. And you have to realize, when you're merging a relationship into a predicament, or, you know, triangulation into, I have a child and I'm in this relationship, and that child gets pulled into that triangulation, sometimes it's not going to be a match. Sometimes people don't have the ability to connect with their child, but that should not be used against them. It was just very much weaponized. I'm glad that Tiff decided to, you know what? My boundary is no more. I'm going home. I'm leaving. I think it was good that Sam came out and talked to Tiffany. No one else did. So I think it was good. Okay, I'm leaving. I don't need this. I've been dealing with this for probably, how long have they been together? 3 years? No more. Okay. I wish there was more a mental health aspect. I'm gonna talk about that in another video. So yeah, Mildred needs a lot of help. I think Tiffany is someone who's gonna need some therapy to be in a place of recovering from being with someone who has some narcissistic traits, some borderline traits, just healing from being in a really unhealthy, toxic relationship. And so, let's move on to Ozzy and Sam. Sam, I really hope, can get some therapy also. I'm not surprised that Ozzy and Sam are together. They just really seem like, I don't know, a security blanket. I think Sam is a security blanket for Ozzy. I'm interested to see how Ozzy's family accepts Sam, or that relationship dynamic. See, there's so much we could have been given. You guys could have showed us what has life been like after, okay? After the ultimatum. Give us like a bonus episode, something, because there's so much more left for me to learn and understand about Ozzy and Sam's relationship, their experience, also why so much that Ozzy has not shared with Ozzy's family about the relationship. So yeah, I want to know more about Ozzy's trauma, the things that really prevented them from being able to really love and show up the way they needed to in the relationship. And I want to learn more about Sam, because sometimes it appears like this relationship is just more of a comfort zone, a security blanket. And they really didn't get into that in the reunion. There was a lot of stuff left out. And Ray and Lexi, at the end, we realized, we were shown that they broke up. I really don't think that they should have been together. A lot of these couples don't really need to be together because it was so toxic. The reunion itself was a little lackluster. There were highlights and points, but for the most part, it wasn't giving what I thought it was going to give. But let me know, what are your thoughts on the reunion? Who do you think should host? Do you think they'll do another queer love spinoff? Maybe a Love is Blind? Was the show what you thought it was going to be? Let me know in the comments. Do we need like an after the ultimatum? Because we do. But let me know your thoughts. This is my take on the reunion. The highlights for me were Mildred and Tiff, the Yoli, Mel, Vanessa situation. I needed more of that. But I think that if this had come out, right when the show ended, it would have been a lot better. I don't know why it took them almost 2.5, 3 years to really put this show together. But I'll go into that in another video. But I'll see y'all next time.